All right, y'all, it is late in the day, but I'm going to try to crank out one more video before I leave. This is actually kind of a special edition of the one of the locks that we lost this week, and I'm actually going to take this one apart because it's a Hager. Hey, girl! Hey, girl! Hey, girl! I've done a Hey, girl video before on mortise locks, actually, but this is going to be a Hey Girl video on their lever handles, specifically what I believe to be their grade 1 lever handle, because this is seems to be a pretty heavy duty one, and this is a classroom function. I've done actually another video on Corbin Russwin classroom function. We've taken it apart to see why the classroom function failed, and we're going to see why it did on this one. This is the second one in a matter of months. All of these are exactly a year old, and they're starting to drop off one by one. So I want to see why, and I'm going to show y'all. We are going to inspect exactly why this sucker is doing what it's doing. It's doing the same thing that the Corbin Russwin that we've done a video on before. Again, classroom function. So with classroom function, you turn the key 360 degrees, and then pull the key out, and it's locked. And these are clutch style, meaning you turn the handle, and if it's locked, it doesn't retract the latch. Whereas a rigid handle, when it's locked, it's rigid. Clutch are better for abuse, because if you sit and torque on the handle or try to step on it like a kid might, it is supposed to be much more vandal resistant and heavier duty. So as you can see, we're just free turning. This is the second one. This is exactly a year old. I know, a little bit over a year old, and we had one fail about 4 months ago. This is out of about 60, okay? So we have about 60 of these on a new building. The only problem that you run into with builders hardware is when it comes down to the warranty. I don't know what the warranty is on this, but with most lever handles, you have 6 months, a year, whatever the case is. So the problem is I'm actually gonna send. There's a guy on Twitter that does the Hager. He does all the marketing stuff. I'm sure he'll have to send me to tech or get an answer. But the problem is when you're the locksmith and you deal with this year after year, the contractor who built the building, they may not be in contact. Like the person who hired the contractor, who hired the door company, who bought the locks from another company. How do you warranty that? You can't warranty it. It's supposed to go back through the original seller, right? This drives me crazy, because as a locksmith, we come along 6 months, 8 months, a year later, depending on the warranty. I don't even know what model this is. There's a sticker here, but that's for the latch, and I hadn't gotten on the website to see. I don't know which model number it is. But I'm going to talk about a couple of the kind of irritating things with these, and then we're going to blow it up. So one little irritating thing is the hole is pretty small. I've done a video on the old poker tool, and during that video I mentioned sometimes the poker tool is too wide to go in the hole. This one is barely, and that's why sometimes I just take a little file to it. It can barely go in, but technically it would be much better to have this round one. Now I replace all these with LSDA classroom, non-clutch, and they last much longer. As I was taking this off the door, I didn't install these, the builder hardware people did. Here's another thing with these. So a lot of rosettes, this being the inner rosette, when you have to take it off the door, usually you can just twist it, right? It's got this little ratcheting mechanism in here. So you put it on and it's loose, and then you turn it and it kind of crimps down into that. That makes it much easier to take off. When it is like this one, once you press this down onto the door, and I'm going to show you by pressing it off, and you can see just how hard it is to do. But the problem is when you go to take it off, the only way to get to it, you see it's supposed to be just like that. So Now, technically they would leave this as an opening, but it is extremely difficult to do this without putting a little mar around the door. And you have to, it's pressed smooth up against the door, so you have to come in here and then twist, and that always puts just a little mark on the inside. And when we get it off, we can see it's plastic. It's this plastic type mechanism here that is just pressed down on there. Once you get that off, you access the screws to take it off, just like anything else. Through bolt design. This one you cannot choose. On some locks you can choose to use the through bolts for lighter duty. For a lever handle, it's always a great idea too, even if it requires more drilling. It's always the best idea to drill your through bolt holes. I will note LSDA's through bolt holes line up exactly with this one. So I just took that off, and I was kind of talking and not paying attention. So look at that, there we go. This is, normally you have this piece that's screwed on, and then this piece which is screwed in to your body right here. This one just has these pins that go into the holes. And of course these go into the side notches of the door. So immediately when you first take it off, you're like, well, that's different. That's a little bit different. Definitely is a little bit different. So you take that off, slide it out the door, and this happens, and you're like, whoa, that's different too. Yes, so here's the kind of the good and bad. There's nothing's good about this. I hate these locks. We have a looks like a snap ring seal here, and we're gonna look real close. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this core out because it really is not doing anything. So another thing different about the classroom function, also let's look at this. This is super big, and another weird thing is how this retainer sits in here. See, this kind of throws you off. Most of the time you have this little plastic retainer that holds the cylinder in, and it goes into a notch. This one actually has this weird little lip right here, and we'll get closer. Zoom in. And you can also see the tail piece is a little weird. And this goes in actually a little bit unusually. And that is how it sits, right? That's how it braces it in. That's odd. This is odd. Look at the tail piece. Now, this is kind of a good idea because that lets you line it up. With classroom function, that's one of the biggest issues that you run into sometimes is the alignment. You turning the key the wrong way or putting it back in incorrectly. However, with this little tab, it actually goes in only one way. If we can get a close-up of that part right there. See how it's got the notch? Yep, that little notch is what this goes in. So there is no way for you to put it in like upside down because it will only go one way. So that is a good part of this. However, we have something major still going on because it's just spinning and spinning and spinning. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and we're going to take this apart and find out why. So let me zoom the camera in a little bit. That last part may have been slightly out of focus. Apologies for that. And undoubtedly it is something going on with the turning mechanism right here. And it almost looks like, okay, this does have to go that way, which they don't want you to do because it's crimped on. However, we're gonna do it. But I need a pair of pliers. Oh, actually I can use my, keep from having to get up. Let's just go ahead and check out what's going on with these silly things so that I know and you know what it is. So, crimp, this is probably not recommended, but hey, We're gonna do it. We don't do recommended things, right? All right, so do we have to, how do we, nope, nope. Nope. Yep. There we go. There it comes. All right, we got it coming out now. Maybe we can try it. Let's push in. Oh yeah, there we go. That's holding it in. All right, so that's off. Just like any other typical okay, so not just like any other typical. This looks like it's gonna blow up, y'all, so let's kind of be careful, but oh, spring, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, so if you're taking apart this in the field, I would carefully set it down like that, and that gives us access to the good part there. And we're gonna take this off. Oh no, it jumped out. No matter how careful I was, I knew that it was gonna jump out sometime or another. All right, let's get this tailpiece in here. See how it functions. Pull the key out a little bit. All right, there we go. Okay, wait, we can push this out too. Hey. Oh. Okay. There we go. We lost the pin. I see the pin. I see probably the problem. There it is. What is this, y'all? Look at that little bitty roll pin. Ha ha ha. How cute. Where does that go? Where does that little bitty roll pin go? Look at that. Look at that little bitty roll pin. Come on, focus. There we go. Look at that little bitty sucker. It is very small. I'm going to carefully put it right there. Let's go ahead and take, so many parts, y'all. So many parts that's destined to fail. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what do we have here? We probably have a hole somewhere that little pin goes in. Oh, okay, there's your guide. Ooh, me. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get this one back together. Okay, this is weird. I'm not seeing anywhere that little roll pin should go, right? So again, we turn, there it is. Yo, I found the problem, guys. So let's go get our little bitty tiny fragile roll pin, and it goes right there. Wowee, what a bad design, yo. And probably gonna have to reverse this video, so these could be repaired in the field. However, not a great have to repair in the field, because because that's so small. No telling, you might lose it. It may not be there. And it came out once. Okay, we're gonna have to move this over to the vise, I see. to be able to get this back in. Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and move this over to the vise. So what I'm going to try to do here is get this little guy back in. Looks like you got to squeeze it down maybe just a bit. Sometimes that lets you get the pin in, but that is not the case here. Okay, I need to switch hands. You know, I carry a lot of parts, y'all. I don't think I have a roll pin this tiny in my parts kit to be able to repair this. If I was in the field and that was missing, if that part was missing, I would not probably be able to fix it. So I think we kind of got lucky on the finding it part. Now I'm just checking to see if it's gonna stay put. I would be extremely concerned about doing this and it working okay without having a real good feeling about it, and I'm not really having a real good feeling about this. But that is it, y'all. Oh, I don't know. What do y'all think? Y'all think that's gonna stay or fall out again? Let's try to tug on it and see what happens. Well, it's not coming out. Not coming out easily. So now we get to go put it back together. Nobody puts parts back together, do they? We're gonna try to do it. Let me give it one more little whack here. And see what happens. All right, so the fun thing was I wasn't expecting to be able to put this back together and use it. Everything else looks good. These little pins right here, I don't know if these pins come out. They do. They do. So let me squeeze that back together. So we have one tiny roll pin that is the central thing. I mean, that does everything. If that's missing, this does nothing. And I don't remember how this went together, so let's figure it out together. Righto. Righto. This goes there. Maybe. This drops down on top of it. This goes in here. Sleeve type mechanism, and this likely, yep, went like that. And then this thing, how did this thing go on there? No, this thing had a function too. Did it go like this? I don't think it went like that. Oh no, come back in there. Oh no! Oh me. That was not planned. Okay, so that's gotta, and that stays. And this has to go. Okay, let's take this guy back out. Put this in maybe. Like that. Is that how that went? No, definitely not. So it went like this. unlike this. Now's a good time to reflect. Okay, I see. This notch. This would be a good time to have to go back on your video. So that's a good reason to take, you know, pictures or photos or whatever the case is to be able to put this crap back together. I may have to do that because I'm a little bit lost on this one. Did this go over beforehand? Let's try it. Yep. And then this one, no, this one in. Okay, let's see how this went together because I can't remember now. Aha, okay, now I remember. So you kind of have to put these two together as like one piece, which is why I couldn't get it. So line up all your little grooves, go down, and it sits there. Then of course we have this. All right. Okay, so that's good. And then this goes, I think that went kind of like that. Yeah, it lined up with the notches right there. Let's set maybe this down. It's going to come apart. Okay, we need to reassemble this thing that blew up on us. And likely it's just, yeah, your standard spring cage kind of mechanism here. So that should be fairly easy. Kind of like an A series. Kind of like it, but not. Make sure your spring centered on those little tabs. And then this this would go kind of like this. Oh, yay! Don't forget to push in here. And snap. I think we may have it. Don't forget to twist one of them back. Let's see, this one and maybe this one. And that goes on the inside. And this goes right there. Nope. This way. Maybe like that. And then this would likely go 2 notches here. On the inside would go on these notches. So okay. And yeah, that's it. Let's see if it works now. We got it back together, so now we know. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the other one was going to be the same way as far as how it fastens together. I don't know, like I said, if that last one that I had fallen apart was the same way. But I still have access to that lock because, again, this is an issue where they can't get a hold of contractor. Once contractors are done building their multi-million-dollar job, they don't care about a door handle out of 60. And that's unfortunate that it's harder to get warranted stuff like that. We'll go ahead and put this together. Don't forget there is a little tab, so if you look in there with a flashlight, you can see which way the tab is. I'm going to go ahead and orient it correctly. Whenever I take stuff off of a door, if possible, I always turn down because of the song Turn Down for What. So I'm going to turn it keyhole down put this in, remembering you kind of have a goofy little plastic guide here, goofy compared to other brands of locks. There we go. And again, put it back in, turn down. Turn down for what? Boom. And let's see what happens. It comes to a stop. And comes to a stop there. Now, of course, this is backwards. That is not going to work, y'all. So here I am putting it together. And the reason is it's pretty simple fix for that. Everybody's like, what in the heck are you doing? I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Let's take this off and fix it real quick. Fast forward 15 seconds while I remove these screws that I tightened down. That was kind of silly. That's just one of those things you got to watch out for when you're putting stuff back together. Is this pretty silly? It's pretty silly, so we just have to flip it like this, right? Should be all we have to do. There we go. So now when we put our lever handle on, now we need to make sure, because like I said, some of these go 360 degrees. So I'm going to turn it all the way one way and then turn it up a little bit. Look to see where our notch is, and it's on that side this time. So then put it together. So there we go. And open. Key in 360 degrees. And it's locked. So when it's in the locked position, so it's working now. There we go. Put this in there just to stabilize it. So there we go. Works. 360 degrees. So if it's in the locked position, you can always walk up to the door and just turn the key. Can you? Yes. Okay, so it is, let's say, yeah, locked position there. And on some classroom locks, you have to turn the key all the way around. So you go 360 degrees, pull the key out, and then you turn the handle and it opens the door. With some brands, you can, all right, so that's locked. Instead of having to go 360 around and then 360 back around to lock it, you can leave it in the locked state and use it as a storeroom function by just turning the key further past that 360 degree mark, which retracts the latch, which lets you go in. Otherwise, it is just like any other storeroom. It just has that added feature where instead of having to go around, open the door like this, and then behind you, turn it back the other way, pull the key out, it's locked. You can just turn the key, push it in, that way it stays locked behind you. Anyway, that is it on this, y'all. We have discovered the problem, and we all know how to fix it now. Yay! Buy little bitty tiny roll pins for your kit. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, you can ask Hager why they're... Never mind, I'm not going to say that. Feel free to leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great one. We'll see you next video.